Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin was one of the most prestigious yeshivas in pre-war Europe. To be accepted, the young students needed to know 200 blot Gemara by heart. Shmuel always dreamed of attending the yeshiva. However, when it came time to get tested, he failed his exam. However, Shmuel's tremendous asmada, diligence, made an impression on Rav Meir Shapiro. He was allowed to enroll despite lacking the skills and knowledge of his peers. Before Purim, the yeshiva would hang a sign in the dining room with a list of all the yeshiva students. Next to their names would be written different rabbinic positions they felt the students were worthy of. There were large Jewish cities with varying degrees of prominence and different positions in various yeshivas. The list was a way in which the study and hard work of the students was recognized. The most coveted title was the Rav of Lodz, honoring the great Rav Elia Chaim Meisels. That Purim, Shmuel eagerly searched for his name on the list, but to his great disappointment, no city or yeshiva was attached to his name. There was a different title, Shmuel HaLevi, an Erlicha shoemaker. Shmuel felt terrible. Was this the sum of all his hard work? Tears filled his eyes and his spirit was crushed. But instead of giving up, Shmuel persevered. He applied himself with even greater diligence and determination. Throughout the next years of study, he would even sign his notes as Shmuel HaLevi, Av Beis Din of Lodz. It wasn't much longer before Shmuel's hard work broke through. He found success in his learning and ultimately became the great leader in Pesach Adar, Rav Shmuel Vosner. I'm reminded of this story by a powerful insight in this week's Parsha. After the completion of the building of the Mishkan, Moshe blesses the people's work. May the Shekhinah rest in the work of your hands and reside in the Mishkan. Wouldn't it be more logical for the blessing of Moshe to be at the beginning of their work? Such a blessing would have empowered the people in the beginning of their labor. Why does Moshe wait for the end of the process after they completed the building? Rav Simcha Sheps provided a beautiful answer. The pasuk in Tehillim says, "Mi yale bahar Hashem, umi yakum b'mkom kachoi." Who will rise up to the mountain of Hashem, and who will ascend to the place of His holiness? Why the repetition? The commentaries explain that there are two stages in serving Hashem. The first is to climb the mountain. The second is to stay there. It's exciting to scale a mountain. The challenge is invigorating. But once we've reached the top, it's easy to plateau. A sense of complacency sets in when we initially reach our goal. The challenge is to retain that excitement even once we've reached the top, to continue putting the work in even as boredom and repetition set in. It's easy to feel the love during your honeymoon. The challenge is retaining the romance 10 or 20 years later. The day after Yom Kippur, when the Jewish people heard that Hashem had forgiven them, they were eager to build the Mishkan. But months later, after completing the process of building, there was a possibility that they would lose their excitement. That's why Moshe chose that time to bless their work. He wanted to encourage them to retain that same enthusiasm even after the job was finished. This was what Rav Shmuel understood as a young bacher. It would have been easy for him to feel good about simply getting into the yeshiva. That alone was an incredible accomplishment. He managed to exceed everyone's expectations. But Shmuel wasn't happy with simply reaching the mountain. He wanted to stay on the top. He continued to put in the work, to persevere and invest in his learning, and ultimately it bore fruit. Moshe was teaching the people that inspiration and excitement can be easy to come by. The challenge lies in retaining that high. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.